Mike Mentzer, Dorian Yates, and a lot of old school high intensity training bodybuilders recommended doing breakdown sets to get the muscle to failure and then beyond. And they believed that this stimulated even better muscle growth than just taking a set all the way to failure. But what does the evidence say, or is there any evidence that actually measured breakdown sets versus simply taking a set to failure, and what is actually better for muscle growth and strength? And guess what there was? There are a few studies that were actually conducted comparing breakdown sets and various different breakdown sets to simply training to muscle failure. There was a paper published by James Fisher and James Steele looking at the evidence of breakdown sets versus simply training with traditional style training to failure, and found that there's actually very little evidence that supported breakdown sets being any better. So they ended up doing an experiment themselves, which included 28 individuals, male and females, with at least 6 months of training experience, and broke them up into 3 different groups: breakdown sets, heavy breakdown sets, and traditional single set to muscle failure. All the exercises were performed between 8 and 12 repetitions, and of course they were supervised so that each individual actually trained to true muscle failure. Now, this is one thing a lot of studies don't control for, which is why many studies are kind of nonsense. These subjects trained on high quality Med-X training equipment that have great strength curves and very low friction, so you could be sure these individuals were really training to true muscle failure and not just hitting sticking points. So what did they find? They found no between group differences when it came to improvements in strength, muscular endurance, and body composition. So this means there's really no advantage to doing breakdown sets if you are properly taking your sets all the way to muscle failure. But here's the caveat: most people are not. When I have people send me videos of them training, they believe they're training to failure, but they are probably about 70% of the way there at best. Basically, what most people are doing are training to a point where it becomes intolerably uncomfortable. And this actually is not actual muscle failure. They probably got 3, 4, or even 5 reps left in the tank until they actually achieve muscle failure. And this is where breakdown sets can actually provide some benefit. For beginner trainees who probably aren't pushing as hard as they possibly can, doing a breakdown set where you start with a particular weight, reach failure, drop it about 30 to 40, where you start with one weight, take that set to failure between 8 and 12 repetitions, drop the weight 30 to 40%, take another set to failure, and repeat the process 2, 3, or even 4 times. Now, this is how a breakdown set is traditionally done. I'm sure there are plenty of different versions, but this is the way I learned, and this is the way James Steele and James Fisher conducted their research. So for beginners, this might be helpful, getting to those extra last few motor units that you probably avoided because you discontinued the set prematurely. So what's my basic recommendation? If you're an experienced trainee, or you've gone through my coaching, or you've been taught by an experienced high-intensity training instructor how to really train to muscle failure, breakdown sets are not going to be useful to you and probably just a huge waste of your time. But if you're a beginner, you just started high-intensity training, or you find it hard to really push yourself all the way to failure, then breakdown sets are really going to help you. And I think you should probably give them a shot. So as you can see, just like everything in the fitness industry, there's a bunch of gray area, and the answer always is, it depends. It depends on your particular situation, it depends on your genetics, it depends on your environment, it depends on many things when considering, is a certain approach effective and effective for you. So if you really want to learn how to train to failure properly and get the best results in the shortest amount of time possible, this is where you want to join my VIP coaching, where I teach you individually, one-on-one and personally, how to really take your sets to failure. Now, this is what most people are missing, but if you're a beginner, breakdown sets can probably help you. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, bell notification icon so you can be notified when I drop more science-based training videos showing you how to get the best physique that you can possibly get with as minimal time possible spent in the gym.